Every day is filled with choices. You're here because you're choosing to start with a win. Get ready to be inspired, learn something new, and connect with the Win Nation.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, Adam Contos, CEO of Remax, here with Start With a Win. Producer Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fantabulous.
Fantabulous. You like
right.
You like a good burger, don't you?
You know what? I love a good burger. I don't just like one. I love a good burger.
Who doesn't? I mean, there's a difference between one of those where you're like, oh my gosh, that's making my mouth water, and you're just like, that was necessary. And the guest we have on today is from one of those companies where you're like, oh my gosh, that makes my mouth water. So help me welcome to Start With a Win, Carl Bachmann, president of Smashburger, where he manages the company's leadership team, oversees the entire brand, which includes almost 300 offices, corporate and franchise, operating in 35 states, 8 countries. Holy smokes, these guys are global. And it's interesting when you look at things from Carl's leadership perspective, which I want to dive into. You know, you're developing employees into leaders, but you also build a world-class team to distribute a world-class, amazing product. So Carl, welcome to Start With a Win. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Hey, by the way, Smashburger, yum. I've got one literally like 2 miles from my house. And
that's excellent.
Love that place. So you're like one of my staples. You're one of the first places I can get to here. So, and probably one of the best I can get to around. So this is really cool to have you on. We're excited to have you. Why don't you give us a little bit about yourself? Tell us, where you come from. What do you do for Smashburger?
Well, I run the company now. I was a COO for a while, and then we were bought out in late 2018 by a global giant. But we're Denver proud, Denver based. I live part-time in Denver. I'm from New York, so I commute back and forth. I've been in the restaurant business since I was about 12 years old, washing dishes and working my way up. And here I am now running Smashburger. And like you guys, I love a great burger, so that was an easy fix for me to join Smash. It's a decadent burger, and we love it. So that's me.
This is cool. I mean, how do you balance? I mean, you've got a lot of. I was reading your bio. You're juggling a lot of balls here. I mean, you guys have to maintain great product. You have supply chain. You have some company-owned and some franchised locations, and you're trying to, as the leader of a company, you got to develop your leadership team every day. But you also have all these stores out there you got to develop and employees to care about. How do you balance that from your perspective? Give me a little bit of insight into what does Carl's day look like?
It starts with treating people the way you want to be treated. It's kind of the golden rule. It's not rocket science. I always say we make burgers and fries. It got to be nice to people. It's kind of 5th grade math and flipping burgers, but it's about doing it right and doing it with passion. So for me, leadership is just take care of my team and letting them make good decisions. And I think great leaders really focus in on letting people support and truly support what they help create. So I don't dictate how we move as an organization. I build a great team around me, and I value their opinions. And it's kind of a democratic approach as opposed to a dictatorial approach. And I think it makes a big difference. And I think that's why we move quickly.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you talk about your leadership, your team. How do you get them to build their goals into your goals as a company? I mean, that's kind of a challenging thing. Sometimes people are like, I want a paycheck and I want to go home. But those are not the types of leaders we want. We want the types of leaders who are personally invested in the organization. So when you start to, and this is, I guess, the squishy space in leadership, the kind of the hard part where we talk about how do we get people emotionally connected with our organizations. What things come to mind when I ask you, how do you accomplish that?
Well, I think I lead with passion and excitement. I love what I do. And I think it starts there. And I think it's the other thing that I mentioned is people support what they help create. So you can dictate how you want things done, or you can ask the team to collaborate and tell me how things should be done. I think when a leader thinks they're the smartest guy in the room, they're clearly in the wrong room. And I think you got to understand that and just take care of really the passion that people have for what their job is. And my job is really to relate to all those different departments in our organization. And I like to make it sound simple, but there are a lot of moving parts to running a big organization and a growing organization. But it starts with empowering your people and giving them decision-making privileges and experiences. And I think then they really get passionate for what they do. And I get excited when I see that. And I think that's contagious. So I think that's how we deliver as an organization.
Amazing. I mean, another example of leading versus managing and really harnessing that compassion that people have to, for self-fulfillment, for doing something better and contributing to a cause. And that cause is, creating great food for people. I mean, and helping the customer. That's pretty cool. Because how do you listen to the customer, Carl? How can you fit that into your leadership? Because, you have to understand the customer needs and the changes in that, which obviously have changed quite a bit lately. But, how can you do both?
I think it starts with kind of one of our values in our company, and our parent company, JFC, has a real strong set of values. And one of the best ones that I think has really set the tone for our organization is to have the humility to listen and learn. So it starts with that. Don't dictate to what the consumer wants. Don't dictate to what they're saying or thinking they're saying or we think they're saying. Listen to them and find out what they really truly want. And I think there's a big disconnect there. So we really focus in on that. We use different platforms to listen to our consumers. We collect all social media comments and feedback and ideas and thoughts and inquiries. And I look at that every day. And that's important to look at it every day and stay connected what the consumer is telling you. And then I also think when it comes down to how do you connect with the consumer directly as a president of a company, it starts with connecting with your employees. I think that's important. I spend a lot of time in restaurants. All my leadership team does. And we just ask the questions and we communicate and listen to our teams. And that's really directs us and gives us direction into what we want to do as an organization. And it's been pivotal to react to the changing times during a pandemic, during digital transformation that our industry's in. So it's so important to really listen. And I think it starts with that. If you treat your employees right and you set them on a pedestal, and it's kind of like an inverted pyramid. Most organizations, you take a pyramid and the president's at the top of the pyramid. I like to think we flip the pyramid upside down and listen to what the employees tell us. Because if we listen to the employees, we're going to take care of the consumer. And then our guests are happy. And that's the key, I think, to the organizational structure that we have. So we listen to feedback every single day. And that's how you really stay connected.
I heard somebody, I don't remember who it was, the other day they were talking about, the ROI of investing in current customers versus those that are not current customers. Everybody's out trying to market to the next customer they haven't had. And really, the gold mine is in your backyard. It's in the loyalty of those that are great customers already. What's your perspective on that? Do you see a lot of companies that are starting to figure that out, or they're missing the point? I mean, you guys really are hyper-focused on your existing customers, obviously.
It starts with great product. During this last year, as people transformed through the pandemic, we decided that our loyal guests deserve something better. I always say comfort in uncomfortable times. And we really focus in on that piece of it. How do we make sure our guests really have an awesome experience and get to try something elevated and different and unique? So innovation, constantly elevating the quality of our products, certified Angus beef, high quality, always starting with quality first. We really think those are the things that really make the loyalty program exciting and make people want to come back. And that's the real return on investment strategy. How do you not lose a guest because you make sure you answer their needs? And needs change, and we have to be always innovating to change with those needs.
What advice? We all know somebody who owns a restaurant. We all know somebody who owns a business of some sort. What advice do you have kind of, that's very time specific, something that's right now to deal with the issues we as business leaders have had. Give us a few key aspects where, Carl's like, hey, think about this. What are the first things you tell a leader right now to get through some of these interesting times?
I think the things that I always fall on are kind of my tenets of how I live my life, and transparency and honesty start there. And transparency, honesty, those sounds generic, but what it means is people know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it. And being honest about your products and your services and what's good and what's not good. I think for leaders, you have to be introspective, and you really have to look hardest at yourself and your organization and say, what do we do it's okay, but it could be better? And where are we always improving? I think that would be my advice to any restaurateur today is elevate your game, because people have high expectations, and constantly be elevating your game. Never sit back and be complacent. Restaurateurs need to constantly elevate from quality to service to standards every day. And regardless of margin, because if you don't have a top line, you can't manage the middle of the P&L anyway. So you better focus on how do you drive new consumers and how do you keep your consumers happy. So it kind of ties in with your first couple of questions: is elevate your game. That's how you win the war. I think when the times get tough, step up your game.
Hey, Carl, I ask a question of all of the people that join us on Start With a Win. And I love this question because, as a business leader yourself, you're always looking for those gold nuggets to share with your leaders. And this is your chance to share a gold nugget with our leaders here. So, Carl, president of Smashburger, how do you start your day with a win?
Well, I always start my day with a good breakfast, a solid breakfast, as I need energy. And, some people read the news or have light reading. I read guest feedback. So I want to know what my consumers are telling me. I want to know how guest experiences were last night or this morning. We serve breakfast now in a lot of restaurants. So I want to know. So for me, it's really simple. A great breakfast. I sit down, have a nice breakfast, and I make sure that I understand the feedback from the last 24 hours from our consumers. Then I, of course, look at sales, because who wouldn't? And those are the two most important things for me is that. And then during the pandemic, we knew we had to pivot the business fast. So how do we start with a win? It was simple. We put together what we called a BCP call. And that's my leadership team. And it's a business continuity plan call. And during the height of the pandemic, that was 7 days a week. So every morning we started, and we all as a leadership team discussed how yesterday went and how tomorrow was going to go and how today was going to go. And things that took 6 months before, we could do in 6 days. Pivoting our business, digital transformation, those kind of things became really important. So that's how we've been winning. So a lot of energy in the morning, understand your feedback, know the results from the day before, and then focus on today. And that's what we've been doing. And it's been very successful over the last year and a half or so.
Great answer. Carl Bachmann, president of Smashburger. Some great leadership tips there. Carl, you and I are going to have to meet up at one of your places locally here in Denver and grab a burger.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Let me know.
Thanks for being on Start With a Win. We really appreciate all that you do, your values, and being just a great business leader in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, and thank you so much for listening to Start With a Win. If you'd like to ask Adam a question or tell us your Start With a Win story, head over to 888-581-4430. Don't forget to go on to iTunes and subscribe, write a review, and rate the show. And for more great content, head over to startwithawin.com. And until next time, start with a win.
Hey, Mark, that episode made me hungry.
Are you serious? I know. I'm like, ooh, Smashburger. My favorite Smashburger is what I like to do is the cowboy burger, but add, I don't know if they even have it anymore, but they had this cowboy burger that had like jalapenos and bacon and like these fried onions, and then barbecue sauce. But I would get that minus the barbecue sauce. And so it was just like the sauteed jalapenos, the bacon, the fry. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, you could still get like the Colorado burger. You would love that.
Okay, yeah.
The Colorado burger with the green chilies and
yes.
So good. So you said what your favorite burger is. I have a question. I've always wondered this because I love Haagen-Dazs ice cream, And
Sure.
the one by me has like milkshakes made with Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Like, is that intentional? Because it's not cheap to make,
It's not cheap.
milkshakes out of Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
You know what? Listen, when people go out for burgers, they're decadent, right? They want to have a great experience, and you can't have a great burger and then go get a mediocre milkshake. So Haagen-Dazs is the best ice cream out there.
It
The
is.
buttermilk fat's perfect, and diet the rest of the week. But when you come to Smash, come on, indulge. So Haagen-Dazs is the best ice cream, and we know it. And so we're proud partners with Haagen-Dazs, and we have Haagen-Dazs in every one of our restaurants mandated. I'd rather run out of ice cream than serve non-Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
That's music to my ears. Well, hey, thanks so much for being on Start With a Win. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button and that little thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode, and the bell icon so you get notified every single time we release a new episode, as well as when we go live. So thanks so much for being a part of Start With a Win, and until next time, we'll see you when we see you.